All right, we're recording.
So, Andre, how did you get into the stone industry? Like, did you have a dream and one day you envisioned people installing granite countertops and you woke up and you're like, man, I got to get into this industry?
No, it was not like that. It was like I actually got introduced to granite, almost 30 years ago. Actually, my dad, before then, my dad used to make polishing equipment to polish marble in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
My dad used to make the
You said Brasilia, right?
Yeah, polishing wheels. So then you get the slabs back in the day, you don't have no shine on them. It just come in just a rough stone.
That's how they do it. They buy the raw slabs.
Yeah. You need to polish them with carborundum. Like you glue the blocks of carborundum to the wheel, so you got different grits, and to make it to shine or just hone them to make them smooth. And that was when I was a kid. So, but here in the U.S., when I came in, I got like when the fabrication shop, everything was run very different. The guy's name Mohammed. They call him Mohammed. Most Brazilians cannot say the word correct. But he was a very nice guy, and he was have a small operation, and that was nice. It was like very different for me, at the time. So then I moved on to different things and went to telecommunications, did other things. So
keep losing it, man. I wish we had
Você tem micrófono?
Yeah, it's right here. So after a while,
there we go.
Like when I moved to North Carolina, there was just a partner that I used to do drywall up in Massachusetts. Say, what, let's go to North Carolina because there's a construction boom is in there. So we came into North Carolina with the desire to do construction, but didn't know exactly what it was. And we start with trim work and doing the woodwork, and then all of a sudden, somebody asked, hey, you guys do countertops? And that was it.
Countertop, once you get in, you can never get out. This is one of those things.
I was studying pre-med biology in college, and a friend of the family, very humble guy. We always knew him as like a tile installer. When he was younger, he would install marble with his dad, rock.
Yeah.
But fast forward, he had this huge fabrication facility with an imports yard. And he's like, hey, come down and work for me for the summer. And I suspected like he'd have a small warehouse with tile. And it's this whole huge Casale marble facility. They were doing like $12 million a year back then in 1997, 98. Blue Pearl, they were way ahead of their time. They were cutting blocks themselves directly cash in Italy. They were buying from Red Graniti and Magti and Bruno Zanit and all these guys.
Yeah.
And then they were sending the material to what we call overflow factories. So these overflow factories, what they would do is they would cut and polish the blocks
for them. So they would subcontract them out.
Granitex or like Bruno Lucchetti or like all the major slab distributors. Exactly.
I did a little bit of that in Brazil. I used to buy the blocks, send it out, but then you get stuck with all the B grade, C grade stuff, all your commercial grade stuff.
No, so
I stopped doing that because of that.
You had to pay a guy who knew how to spray the block with water and look for the defects.
The problem is if you don't get to go to the factory and do it, and even if you did it, they'll swap out the blocks on you, and before you know it, you're getting something that looks horrible, not exactly what you
remember always that with the travertine.
I stopped that.
Yeah, with the travertine, you used to get commercial select.
Yeah.
And then you'd have like classical. So basically, first choice, second choice, third choice. And if you wanted the first choice, you had to buy X amount of blocks of the crap.
So this was.
So this was like the late 90s.
Yeah. All right. You should buy a little.
So there came a point. Now, before I repped this company named Ravelli CNCs, there was a company out of Spain in the Bilbao area, San Sebastian. So I would travel to San Sebastian. Have you guys been there?
No.
It's in the north of Spain.
San Sebastian is actually Basque country.
Yeah. So the Basque country, it's weird. They have this language that they say that it's proof of like extraterrestrials because it has no link to any other language on the planet.
It does have
no to like Latin or anything.
It's Portuguese. It's as a Catalan, Portuguese, and the native language.
Spain is pretty sure. Is that area that's actually outside Spain, inside I think France?
Right between France and Spain.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a Basque region. They
Yeah.
consider some of themselves that are like really diehard. They consider
They
themselves
speak
not
their own.
Spaniards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
The northern,
it's called Euskera. It's
Yeah.
called the language. So these guys were from that region. Amazing CNC. They don't make them anymore, but they tried to make them for stone. They were making them for metal and wood, and they got into stone. I sold 2 of them in the United States. In 2003, I sold them in Naples.
Yeah.
So the company calls me. I go repo it. Nobody wants to buy this machine because it doesn't have a name, but it's an amazing machine. It's really well built machine. And so I get a gentleman from Canada that I meet through the website because I was on this stone machine website, right? And I tell him about the Cadilla, and he loves the machine, and I think we came up with a price. I bought it for, I want to say, $20K from the bank, $25K, one of those other things, and all of a sudden, I ended up making a deal with the tooling and installation training and everything. I think it was like $55,000, $57,000, and he says, "But look, man, I'm gonna pay you the last $15,000 when the machine's up and running and doing pieces." So I'm like, okay, no sweat, that's fine. Like, I'm willing to take a chance, whatever. And I could tell he's a really good, nice guy, and I understood his position because he's in Canada. So if something goes wrong, it's Canadian, it's international law. It's not right. Right? It's very risky for them. So I end up going, but I call the guy in Spain. Now we're getting to August, and you know how everything shuts down in August, right?
Yeah.
Even in Spain,
Right.
like you said. So I start doing courses online to learn how to program the software myself, just in case, like as a contingency plan. But I'm telling the guy, hey, I need you to come. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna come. Book the ticket. I should be available. Da, 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 da. I send Eddie up to do the install, set it in place, level it, make sure everything's connected and all that. And he's like, all right, but who's gonna do the training, Joe? Because I don't know how to run the machine. And I said, the guy from Spain. So he's like, okay. So he says, hey man, okay. Once he install it, the guy, I'm like, let me book your ticket. He's like, yeah, I gotta send you my passport. Last minute, he says, oh man, I have a family emergency, blah, 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 blah. I can't go until after August. So, okay. I'm like, what? No, man, you can't do that. I'm so sorry. I booked my ticket. And my wife says, what are you gonna do? And I go, I'm gonna make that machine run. And she goes, what? And there was like a book this thick, so luckily they had good documentation. And I go, I'm studying like for a test, you know? Like I'm reading and I'm practicing, and I did learn how to program, not like awesomely,
Right.
But it wasn't even a CAD CAM back then. This is 2003.
These machines were.
So 2009, it's like they used a SolidWorks version. You know, SolidWorks.
Yeah, it's kind of like a DAWs looking, right?
Yeah. It's like very.
What is it? All green screen, all green letters.
Yeah. And so I learn it well enough, but I don't know how to home the machine and like run the machine. You know, like so I'm learning in my mind because I know other machines. And I booked my flight, and Eddie goes to me, hey man, so are you guys gonna do the training? You know, the guy called me, then he had gotten his number. Like, hey, when are you guys going? And I go, yeah. And he's like, oh, I go, I'm going tomorrow. I said, and he goes, oh, you're gonna meet the guy from Spain? And I go, no, I am the guy from Spain. And Eddie goes, shut up, I don't believe you. Okay, you can ask Eddie how many rapids I pulled out of over the years. He's been with me for 22 years.
Wow.
So
I think in the beginning we all have stories like that. I have my share.
Yeah.
Crazy guy.
Yeah, I have my share of stories like that where you just gotta figure stuff out, right?
I start having trouble with the vacuum pump, and I call Eddie. Eddie helps me and we like figure it out. And then I call the guy in Spain. So at the very end, like right before the day that I'm supposed to start training them, I'm trying to I got the vacuum pump. I don't want to do the test pieces of the program in front of me. So I'm sitting there and it's like 6:30 p.m. And then it's like 70. I go, yeah, just a little longer. And he's like, hey, Joe. He goes, is it okay? He goes, is it okay if I just leave you the keys? And I go, sure. And
Hate to borrow my tablet.
he goes, He goes, I'm gonna leave you the keys, and he goes, how long do you think you're gonna? I go, I don't know, maybe 8:30. I'll stay here till 8:30. It's like, okay. And my hotel was in walking distance. It's a very nice place. It's called Windsor. It's right over the border with Detroit.
It's Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Detroit with none of its defects. And it's like nice European looking, like
Yeah,
brick
I was just in
roads.
Toronto, so it's really nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful city. Yeah.
And so thinking like it's 8:30 and I'm like, I need help, man. And I wanted to just be sure and get the last thing. So the gentleman from Spain, he always told me like, hey man, if you need help, I'm up by 7 a.m. So I'm looking at the time, but I'm an hour behind. I think. No. Was it? I don't remember. But long story short, I stayed there till 1 o'clock in the morning. So I could call the guy and get the last pieces of information that I needed to put this puzzle together. It was a piece of Calypso green Marinace, remember?
Oh yeah.
And then the profile wheels that I had was triple waterfall, triple pencil, which isn't easy, right? To
No,
calibrate.
that's a tough one.
So I put the piece on. I go through the process of calibration. I leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. I show up at 7:30 in the morning, and I start training him
Wow.
on how to use the machine, and like as if I was like, like as if I knew. And I was like, yeah, and then you just go ahead.
Fake it until you make it.
Man,
You
he
feel
was-
very good after that because,
Yeah, he was super happy. Wrote me the check. I go home with the check, and that moment in that airplane was when I said, I hadn't thought of the name yet, like decided, but in my mind I was like, I'm gonna make the best machine. If I can do this, then there's nothing I can't do.
Right. Good story. That's
That
a good
was
story.
awesome.
Yeah, we all, as entrepreneurs, I think we all find ourselves in those situations, even to this day, where you have to be
new
creative.
challenges.
You have to be creative. You have to think outside the box. You have to, sometimes you're going to have to be the person who troubleshoots, lead the way and find the solution for your customer. And once you lose that touch, once you lose that, that's when things are not good. So you got to always challenge yourself. Whether it's building a new machine, adding a new technology, that's kind of the path that I'm on right now. It's just what's next. You can't. We've always been at the forefront of technology and efficiency, and always thinking, how can I fine tune the processes? How can I fine tune, our numbers to get the best results every time? And the moment you stop that process, that's the moment you start going downhill.
No, I believe that the universe is always expanding. That's a known fact.
Yeah.
In the universe, I don't know how many light years, like how many but it's constant expansion. I think that energy-wise, that's what, as humans, we need to be constantly expanding. People that I think
it gets harder though with time.
It does.
Yeah, for us, you think you put your time in, you got family, you got more distractions. Now, maybe you've got a little bit more success in your life, so you're gonna get pulled in every direction. You want to travel more. Your wife wants to do certain things,
or you start looking at stuff,
or you buy stuff that's gonna take time away.
Yeah.
And stuff does take your focus away.
Now you got a whole nother group of phone calls coming because boat.
Yeah,
you're way up in the speed.
boat registration.
Hey, you just passed the
Like
cup, dude.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the advice. Yeah, yes.
I'm not used to driving downhill.
Cup was just there. It's 60 miles an hour. You do
55.
90, 80.
The conversation is good.
I'm in the stone industry. I got a granite foot. But you asked me a question. One of you guys asked me a question. How did I come up with cutting it upside down?
Yeah.
So when I first repped Rebelli, they had a 4-axis with a blade attachment. That was like a 12-inch blade. So when I was cutting on the vacuum pods, they used it to like do reinforcement notches.
Yeah, that's what usually the CNC. Yeah, even
But
cutting like round circles
very
without.
slow, and it was like almost a continuous rim blade with a really thick thing.
Yeah.
And it cut, and when I saw it cut through the material one time, but it was like 2 cm granite at the time. It was like emerald pearl.
Wow.
It was hard. I saw the cut, and it was just like I took a snapshot in my subconscious, like, oh, huh. Like I was expecting it to blow out on the bottom.
Yeah,
But I mean,
that's the first thing that I thought once you started explaining to me what the height rate was.
So then what happened was later on in 2009, like those bad years, there was a lot of used saws, right? And I was always inventing. We were always inventing solutions. So like this one guy, I remember, he wouldn't buy the bridge saw, and it was like a Zanotto or something like that, because he's like, no man, the damn table size is too small. He's like, I'll buy the machine if you guys can weld brackets on the top part, so the slab can be higher. You know what I'm saying? Because the machine could cut it, but the table was too small. So I was like, you know what? All right, let's do that. Okay. So what we did was we cut like brackets, but in the brackets would sit 2x4s of wood, because you had to be able to cut into it too. So the bracket would hold the material. Okay. So what happened was, one time when I'm doing the testing, and a cut landed with a backsplash all the way across the brackets. So I had three channels of metal that I put the 2x4s inside the channels and the extensions of the table. Okay. And when the blade cut, it was in the air, cutting through basically when it wasn't cutting over the wood.
I said, hey, this is the first version we ever did this in Nashville. So he showed the first version of trying to do this in a car.
That was the beta, yeah.
Yeah, this is, hey man, this is how it all started right here, this day. Every time we hit a bump, the phone would fall over.
So what were we saying?
No, we were talking about the cutting, the scribing.
Yeah, so scribing. So the finger bit's moving at 30 inches a minute, cutting a sink. So when it's just eating a little bit, you can run that mother at like 4 or 5 feet a minute.
Yeah, because you're only taking 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch at a time.
Yeah.
It's all, the other thing too, that it's all in the programming, right? Getting the programmer to, are the speeds set by the programmer or the operator?
No, everything is set by the program.
Okay.
The operator can graduate down the feed rate.
But the program,
it's already programmed at the max.
Okay.
And that's where other machines are different. They have a feed rate that goes up 160%. Doesn't make any sense to me, because that can be very dangerous.
Right.
Now, there's another thing here, and let me give you this food for thought. Okay. The more custom a job is, the more profitable it is, and the greater the savings is of labor effort on the tubes with the hybrid tube. Let me give you an example. How long, if you had to do an island, and you might not get these jobs anymore, but you probably some, because you're in a very traditional place, like custom traditional, like big houses that are colonial type, right? So imagine you get the island that has the arches on all 4 sides, and it either has inverted semicircles in the corners, or the Mickey Mouse ears. Right. Okay. But they want triple waterfall. Okay. That slab, you'd probably cut it with the water jet. Right? How long would that take? How expensive would that be? Okay. Because the water jetting on that job is the same water jet expense as like 8, 9 cookie cutter jobs, opening sinks and doing the okay. So then you'd have to move it. Then you'd have to put it on the CNC router. Then that takes a little more care. Then you're gonna, so just the labor hours and the moving of that huge piece too, that's got the curves and the Mickey Mouse here. Okay. That job, I put the slab one time upside down. I get my 32 inches a minute finger bit to just go in from the outside of the slab and cut the whole shaping. I take off the scrap and I go straight
to polish.
To polishing, to profiling, with one slab placement. How can you do that?
So here's one thing that I mentioned to Rick. The way we set up our scheduling production today, we cut one day, we route the second day, and then finishing the third day. So we eliminate a whole day out of production. So you're gaining an entire day in production.
That's another nuance. You're used to cutting.
And plus you got to have the room, the buffer, right? You got to have all these kitchen carts full of jobs that are going to get damaged, going to get moved around.
No more work
you need the space, the work in progress between cutting
Lean
and routing.
manufacturing 101. If you can remove the work in progress carts, real estate from your shop,
that's huge.
Okay. When you're going to have less machines, but you're going to add square footage to your warehouse because you're removing the work in progress real estate that you're occupying right now.
Yep.
Now,
That sounds good.
here's another nuance. Ready? Here's another nuance too. What you said, the simple fact that you have to, because cutting is always so much faster than fabrication, you're always splitting up the final stage to get to the final finished product. You have to split it up like that. Okay. The other thing about the T-Rex is for the first time, it gives you more control because you know that you're cutting and finishing in the same day, X amount of square feet. That's never happened before. Nobody knows in this industry, I promise you, how many labor hours does it take you to get to the final product for this type of job, this type of material. Okay. But now this process also allows you to be able to quantify that to the minute.
Joe, you want to add a cool feature to that machine?
Yes.
Is your software to have something within the software that shows idle time.
We have it already. So
That should be a clock. That should be a screen within a screen, where percentage, where you translate that information to a percentage or into a time.
Yeah, I can put it as a new screen, but it does have in the back end. There's a log. It's called an hours log. You can go in and see in 8 hours or 24-hour period how much the machine was running.
Right. Good. Well, running meaning
keep
like
the
producing.
hours of the running time, but
the spindle time.
The spindle time. Yeah.
But it's not. It usually tells you what days it ran.
Yeah. Also.
That's important.
Yeah. It tells you the date.
Now you should
every
take that
cycle,
data and transfer that into graphics, right? You do visual. So you put put a line. Say, hey, this is your operation time frame. Why did you go up on this day? Why you're down on this day? What's going on?
Yeah. So
because it knows the shape, is it counting the square footage? You should count the square footage. Actual square footage. Why can't you do that?
Because it doesn't know what's a
scrap and what's not.
Piece, right. What's an island and what's a.
Why can't you just highlight in programming? This is what I'm cutting.
We could do linear feet.
I think because some jobs will.
Like anything is possible. I can try to see if I can get the DXF for the laser to also be accepted or into the.
Because you already have that information, like Raptor, right? That file that you're uploading into the system.
Oh wait, we can.
It has square footage.
On our CAD CAM. You can do it on the CAD CAM software.
Because you have the square footage of the job. Raptor gives it to you. It's there.
Yeah. No, we can do it on the when you print the job sheet, we can put it on.
Oh, have it a mandatory window where the programmer has to put the square footage. Right. Just a mandatory thing. You can't program a job until you input the square footage. Even if it's manual input, it's still something.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it's still something.
Grab the job sheet, and when you run the program, you could probably have a window
there's a window that says
the job sheet number and the square feet.
It's square feet, and then you say, and then now the machine is tracking square footage. It's an input from the programmer. It's not automatic,
great idea,
but it's a mandatory field that needs to be filled in.
It's a great idea.
So now you're just collecting the data,
and have the machine spit out that data in the screen.
Yeah, I know I messed up. Thank you, Flatbed.
Yes. It did a whole lot of things with the horn.
Well, here's another thing that the machine has in it. What are the two things that will bog down your production on Dual Tickle? Not working nonstop, right? But the other thing that all CNC operators do, what do? They'll slow down the feed rates.
Yeah.
A lot, okay? Because they're not in a hurry.
So then now you can say what. Also, you can track that information. So basically,
the tool I'm tracking,
listen,
the average feed rate percentage.
So Formula One, I love Formula One for a reason. They're pushing the envelope on everything. They measure the tire, where the fuel, the temperature of the fuel, because everything has an implication on the milliseconds that they're trying to shave off their time. So to me, the value of any machine manufacturers to give that data back to not just the operator, but the owner or the manager or the production manager.
Chegou na casa antes.
You know what I mean? So you have to do something like that. You have to bring that to the table.
Não é assim. Tem alguma coisa que tá errada.
That would be right. Have all that data into a secondary screen that you can see. Are you operating at a max feed rate? What's the percentage of time that you're operating at what you should be operating? because that can slow down.
A
What's
gente já
the
tinha ido na reunião com
what
o
is
Victor,
the
né? A
idle
gente tinha
time of the
duas
machine
vezes reunião com o
and
Victor
square
sobre isso.
footage? You track those 3 items
Uhum.
because it brings accountability and visibility
No, that's
to the
what
forefront.
that's what we're working on. Actually,
You can build the best machine,
Mhm.
but unless you have a good operator, good manager, good everything, the machine isn't going to perform at its best. But if you
help facilitate those.
if you help facilitate that and make it clear,
Yeah, I wanted to put.
É,
I wanted to put
sempre liga,
and I know
mas
it
aquela
sounds funny,
história,
but like give
né?
the operators an Apple Watch.
Tem que perguntar pro builders team de
that
verdade
if I had an
como é,
app on their
quem
machine,
toma conta, o Ladel, né?
that like an app, I would build an app for the Apple.
Bárbara, perguntar pra Bárbara,
that
Bárbara, de
every
verdade,
time
os caras
the
nas
machine
mitam o
stopped,
Charlotte, quantas
the
vezes eu
operator's
chego
thing is
atrasado?
vibrating
Quantas
until it
vezes você
runs
tem que
again.
ligar pro builder pra falar que
Sends
vai
a
chegar
pulse
lá
of vibration
meio-dia?
20 seconds.
A gente talvez não conta isso como atraso, mas pra eles é atraso.
I was joking and I said, really, I'd like to electrocute.
Yeah.
But slight shock.
but I think if you bring the visibility
It's not-
and
Não,
there's a screen,
mas eles querem que
Well,
Seriously,
you could also
like,
do it
eles
on the
querem que
screen,
chegue
but
antes
we
das
have a
12.
siren. So I was even thinking, honestly,
no, just do the
Put
it's
sound.
the numbers. It's right there. No, because I people know how to bypass all that stuff. You put it in as a
Oh.
technology piece. You can't bypass that. The machine knows when it's
now
running,
what
when
you
it's
could
not
do
running.
is you could do the Henry Ford method. Because like for example, if you
Aham.
like in your shop, if you had like 3 T-Rexes over here and 2 T-Rexes over here, you make like 2 teams. But you always sort the teams out, so it's 2 against 3, right? Because some will be single, some will be double
Right.
table. And so you can.
Pois é, eu tô
what they
achando
said
que é
was that
isso que
Henry Ford, how
tá
did he get his
achando, que ele
production
quer
up?
que todo mundo chegue
They
lá
had a day
8 horas da
shift